Okay, this is going to be another demo of a few of the visualizations I might not have covered so far, and I've already set up a base flow here where I have two data sources right now. I have the read the GC numerical data source activated, and I have a view component over here. So let's take a quick look at that data, and it's pretty much all numeric data. So that I'm going to use this to drive a few of the numeric data visualizations. And I'm going to scroll over here to the NVD3, which is a package by Bob Monteverde. And I'm going to select a few of these guys. I'm going to start off with the bubble chart. Double click that and go ahead and execute the data. And we should see a view look something like this. So what's nice about this view is that you can scroll over and see the data points, and there's let me resize this guy real quick, and then we can go over here to the magnify and use that function to zoom in on the data we want to see interactively. So it's a nice way to be able to zoom in to different data points and stuff like that. So that's the bubble chart. Not much to it. Take that out of the flow, and next I'm going to go with the line chart, and again I'm going to execute the flow, and what we should see here is just a basic line chart. Now the nice thing about this is that we can activate certain things we want to see and things that we don't want to see interactively. So here I'm going to take out a few of these things from the graph and zoom in on some other stuff. So that's it for the line chart. And next we have the cross filter, which is pretty similar to the line chart, only we have the ability to select a range that we want to see down here and then scroll through it, and then we can focus on certain points of the graph that are of particular interest. So again, we have the basic functionality of being able to turn off series and to zoom in on any portion of the graph that we want to see. That's cross filter, and let's see. Next, I'm going to go with the stacked area chart, and again, I'm going to execute. And this one's pretty nice because we have multiple views of basic stacked area chart, and we can see a stream view, which puts the relative magnitudes along a central axis here, and then the expanded view, which is another way to look at the data. And again, we can pick those portions that we are not interested in and select things interactively. And I think that's it for the numerical data. So next I'm gonna, oh, actually I did miss one. It's actually not a NVD3 view, but it's one that I forgot to cover last time under the D3 visualizations. And let me open this guy up over here, and let's go to the stacked radar. So I'm going to execute this, and we see the same graphs, only they're on a radial axis here. And this is one of the interactive components, so we can mess around with things like the inner and outer radiuses and stuff like that. Whatever makes sense. You can change the precision on the interior labels to whatever degree you want, and maybe the opacity is overwhelming because the fonts are not popping enough. So we can also change the fonts, and we can change the stroke width inside of the component, and of course we can add a relevant title to the graph. And again, with any of these visualizations, we can just hit Control S and save it as a HTML asset and view it offline in a browser, or we can publish it to a web server. And the nice thing is that it'll have no JavaScript dependencies, because the JavaScript dependencies are all expanded in line, so you end up with an asset that's self-contained, which is a pretty nice thing. And one last thing here is the number of axes. You can add more of them if you need more, or you can basically reduce it to as few as you want to see. Looks like down to 1. And if you don't like the sliders, you can always interact with it however you want through the text input as well. So that's it for the numerical data. And next I'm going to enable another data source here, disable this one, and this data looks like this. So it's some basic sales data. It's actually pretty fabricated, but I'm going to use this categorical data to show a few more of the NVD3 views that I think are pretty nice. So next is the pie chart. I'm going to hit execute, and there we go. We can see the breakdown of the sales across each month, and we can interactively select the months that we don't want to see or that we do want to see. And let me pick March. That's a big one, and it's pretty nice. I'm going to add a donut chart to this. Again, I'm going to execute. Really, the only difference is that there's an open space in the center, which you can use to put labels, stuff like that. Again, we can interactively select the pieces of the graph that we want to have show up or not. So that's it for the pie and donut. And again, the bubble charts is a pretty nice view. I covered it earlier on, but in this case we have categorical data, and I think I forgot to show this, but we can interactively select which series we want to see, and again we can magnify throughout here, and that's a pretty nice feature. So that's all I want to cover this time, and that's it. So thanks.